foam rolling is self-myofascial release. Basically what it is you are giving yourself a massage with a tool like a foam roller, but you can use anything. You can use a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball. There's these Theracanes. There's these kind of like these guns that people are using to give themselves massage. Those are all forms of self-myofascial release, or the broad term is, I guess you could just say, foam rolling. And it's good for athletics because it can relax the muscle. There's not a huge amount of scientific research behind it actually doing anything to the muscle per se, but there is a theory that it's affecting the nervous system, and it is taking the muscle tone down of whatever area that you're doing SMR, self-myofascial release, or foam rolling. So it has been beneficial, at least for me anecdotally, and for the athletes that I train. So I would say it's a good thing to use. If it works for you, great. If you find no benefit in it, then maybe change the method or just do something else that you think is more beneficial. The best time to foam roll, or when you should foam roll, is really up to you. It depends on really what you're doing, what your goal is, how you feel. I have heard that, and there's some evidence backing this, that you should not really foam roll before a workout because it will cause relaxation in the muscle. You won't be able to generate as much force or have power when you foam roll before a workout. But really, I haven't found that to really be the case. You'd have to foam roll for quite a long time. So I would say it's really your preference. If you want to do it before, do it. If you want to do it after, do it after. There's really no optimal time that I think foam rolling is going to be. This is the best time. It's really a personal preference. I personally do it after, so I do it after the workout. There has been some evidence stating that it will decrease the soreness, how long you're sore after a strength workout, for example. So really, it's your personal preference. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it before a workout either, as long as you don't spend 15 minutes on one muscle or something. So there's differences in the firmness of, say, the foam rollers, right? So I'm holding two balls here. One is a lacrosse ball. This is hard, but this would be great for your feet, right? So if you put this on the ground and you step on it, then this would be great. The tennis ball would be something that you can also use on your feet, but you could use this for your hips, your quads, your calves. This would be good for your calves, your upper traps, other regions like that. And this would be more like localized to a specific area. And the foam rollers here would be more for like a general region, right? A muscle group, things like that. This would be the softest, right? So this is basically like the white foam. This just happens to be blue, but the white foam rollers you see at commercial gyms that eventually get stomped until they're completely flat. This would be this one. Okay, this one is a little harder. Okay, so this one has a PVC center. This one, I would say, is going to last a little longer. It's not going to get flat, and it is tougher. Okay, so I would start with this, then I would go to, well, I wouldn't go with this next. I would go with this one. This is a standard foam roller. So this is the one that you can get for $10-20 online. Standard length, the standard, how heavy it is, or how hard it is, excuse me. And this one most people use. I still use this one. This is the one I use the most, right? So I would start 1, 2, and then I would move to something like this with a soft cover but a hard center, right? So this one, it's not going to get bent out of shape. It's also a little harder than this one, and you can get a little deeper. And then I would, if you get to here, right? If you get to a point where you're not feeling these, then you would get to, this is just a PVC pipe. So this is actually it's EPS, I think, but it's just a hard, very, very hard. You can see it's really hard. And you may never get to this. All right, I don't think there's anything extra beneficial of getting to the hardest tool. Eventually, if this doesn't, you don't feel anything from this, you're gonna have to get a spiked paddle. So it's not. You may never get to this. You may never need to get to this. All right, but some athletes, they do use this, and the balls are I would say even the next level, right? Just for areas that you can't really get to with a foam roller, hamstrings, right? One of my favorite ones is sitting on a chair and putting this under my hamstring. Your feet, right? It wouldn't really work on the foam rollers. The arch of your foot, you use balls like this. You can also hit areas of your forearm, with the balls like this. There's areas you can push into your chest against the wall. So yeah, this would be how I would. This would be like a hierarchy of stiffness. So some of the precautions that I would take when using foam rolling is I see this a lot is people foam roll for way too long, where they'll get bruising to the point of bruising. I would not foam roll a muscle group for longer than 1 to 2 minutes. I would say even that might be too long. Unless you're doing something else, right, for a different purpose. If you're just trying to relax the muscle, the nervous system, you probably shouldn't foam roll excessively where you could bruise yourself. And also another one I see a lot is people going too fast. They'll do, for example, they'll do like their hip flexors, right, with a foam roll, and they'll go, instead of trying to relax and breathe, they'll really try to grind the muscle, and that's kind of like the opposite of the effect you want. You want to shut off the tone. Okay? You don't want to increase this. You don't want to increase the tone. So speed, going too fast, doing too long. And the third one I'd say is people that move into the harder implements too early. So I see people that never even used, maybe one of the softer foam rolls, and they're already on this. Right. Once you get to this, there's really no going back. There's a theory that your body adapts to the hardness, the stiffness of the roll. So you want to take as much time with the softer ones as you can, and then once you get to the hard ones, then there's no going back, right? And the theory is that why people believe it's a nervous system effect and not a muscular effect is because of that, right? Your nervous system doesn't react to the softer implements, so then you have to go to the harder ones, and that's why you see a lot of athletes and weightlifters. They're all on this or the spiked one and the one with bumps on it, and then after a while they have to use the guns with the electric tools and stuff like that. So start slow, don't do too long, and just don't go too hard too soon. So just to recap, the three kind of things that you want to look out for when you're foam rolling. One is, I'll just say there's three things in one. So don't go too hard, too quick. Don't foam roll too long, and also try your best not to use the tools that are not for the muscle that you're using, right? So if I'm trying to foam roll my feet, I'm not going to step on this and assume that's going to do something. It's the surface area is too big. I would use ball, right? If I'm gonna foam roll my low back, I probably would want to use something like this with a bigger surface area, right? So that's one. Two is just departing things with the foam rolling. You don't necessarily need to foam roll. There's no research saying that it's superior than, say, dynamic stretching, but there's a lot of people that do use it and it works, and the mechanism is still unknown, but if it works for you, then you should do it. And I guess the third thing would be just if you're going to do foam rolling, this is how I would suggest to do it. Is starting with the tool that is the softest first, not spending a whole lot of time on it, maybe a minute max, finding some areas that are sore for you and just holding it there, breathing, relaxing, doing it slow, not trying to really move quickly. You want to relax the muscle. Okay, and then so yeah, that's pretty much some parting things to do with the foam roller. Just if you want to hit me up on Instagram, I'm at Coach BZ, and I can answer some more in depth questions on when to use foam rolling, when to use self myofascial release, when I wouldn't recommend it, and also just other training tips.